This is Hannibal here from the HannibalTV.com, drinking some delicious espresso out of one of the Hannibal TV mugs, which, by the way, you can buy on our merchandise store at the HannibalTV.com, or find the link in the description. You can get these hoodies as well. And they are very comfortable, I have to say. It's getting pretty cold here in Canada, and they keep you warm. The big news of the day here is Raw had their season premiere last night, and it only had a 0.52 rating. The reports of the show were pretty bad. For instance, they just had the big draft. Otis is supposed to be on SmackDown. He's already appearing on Raw. The New Day were supposed to have separated a couple weeks ago. They appeared on SmackDown last Friday together. They were all on Raw again, according to the Wrestling Observer. They did some stupid angle where they put the Fiend. The Fiend does Mick Foley's mandible claw. And basically, he put the mandible claw on one of the Retribution guys, who has like bars over his mouth. So you can't even get your fingers into the guy's mouth unless you have like toothpicks for fingers, but they sold it like the fingers were actually in the mouth for the mandible claw, but it's impossible with the thing on the mouth. And then to top it all off, they have this Hell in the Cell pay-per-view coming up on Sunday. And the whole point of the Hell in the Cell is people are supposed to fight inside the cage. There's not supposed to be any interference, any way to get in and out of the cage. But they had Randy Orton doing a promo in a cage, and then Drew McIntyre comes down with bolt cutters and basically shows that anyone with a pair of bolt cutters can get in one of the Hell in the Cell cages. So I'm glad I missed that one. I can't remember the last time I ever watched a full show of Raw. The last time I probably sat through a full SmackDown was when I was actually doing security at the arena here in Ottawa, Canada, when SmackDown came to town. And that wasn't pleasant. That was the one where Ellsworth beat AJ Styles. Which, by the way, I've also pinned AJ Styles 2 times in one night when he was IWGP New Japan champion, for anyone who doesn't know that. That's why all the New Japan wrestlers are afraid of me. The Orange County Department of Health is investigating buildings that WWE are running shows in right now as part of their ongoing COVID-19 hotspot investigations. So these include the Performance Center, Full Sail University, and the Amway Center. So yeah, good luck to them on that. Obviously, there's been a few outbreaks in WWE so far. I reported yesterday that Jake Hagar, formerly Jack Swagger, is fighting next week for Bellator against Brandon, the Bone Crusher Colton, who I actually spoke to this Brandon Colton, and he's going to do an interview with me in the coming days before he fights Swagger. It's going to be a preliminary fight. It's not even on the main card, surprisingly. You'd think they would put a current AEW star on the main card, but it's not. So I find that unusual. According to the Wrestling Observer, even though they just announced this fight a couple days ago for next week, strangely enough, like, there's literally almost no time to build this up. But apparently Swagger has known he's going to be fighting for a while. I don't know how much time this Brandon Colton has had to prepare for the fight. They have been giving Swagger tomato cans, basically, even though the last guy he fought went to a no contest because he kneed the guy 3 times in the groin. Bill tipped me $25. Thanks a lot, Bill. Really appreciate your continuous tips. But something else interesting about Swagger that I will get into that he posted on Twitter today. Stephanie McMahon sent out a tweet saying she's so proud of the WWE community for all their hard work to make WWE the 2020 Corporation of the Year at this year's PR News and SCR Nonprofit Awards. WWE's mission is to put smiles on faces and could not be done without hard work and passion of this incredible team. And Swagger retweeted this and wrote LMAO, I guess lying about 37 million in quarterly profits so you can fire over 300 people during a worldwide pandemic is a category for an award. So that is what Jack Swagger tweeted about Stephanie McMahon and WWE's mission of putting smiles on people's faces. There is no question the WWE product right now is worse than it's ever been. They have less stars than they've ever had. The only real true star they have is Roman Reigns, the active one, because John Cena is pretty much a Hollywood performer now, and Roman Reigns is far from John Cena. So, again, Corporation of the Year. The best word to describe WWE is a corporation. They're not entertaining. It's a horrible, unwatchable product that I can't even watch like seconds of because it makes me mad seeing what wrestling has turned into from the sport that I loved to the shit that it's become now. Mike wants to see me interview Coco Beware. There is a short interview with Coco on here that Dave Meltzer did. Ralph says WWE are going to the dogs. CAPA, what's up with Braun Strowman doing bukkake on his YouTube channel? At least Vince finally has the guys doing what he likes. I don't know what bukkake is. No idea. Ralph says WWE has stupid storylines. Ivan says Otis is a joke. Follow us on Instagram at The Hannibal TV. We're also on Twitter at The Hannibal TV. And Hannibal, I'm also on Twitter at Devon Hannibal. If you DM me, I'll follow you back. Ralph says WWE is a joke. Mike is laughing at the bolt cutter. Like, you're trying to get over that these matches are in the cell to settle feuds. But on the pre-show to the pay-per-view, somebody easily gets him with bolt cutters. No referee even tries to stop him. It's just retarded. Raj says hi from Vancouver, British Columbia. Darius Curry says, way to kill the gimmick match with the bolt cutters. Smart Steve says it's a joke. Raj says WWE sucks. Desmond Castro, any chance of an interview with AJ Lee, who's reportedly dated a lot of wrestlers prior to being married to CM Punk? Probably not. She probably won't do an interview with me. Piece of trivia, though, she was signed from the same tryout that I was signed for from in 2009. So I didn't know her a little bit back then. Bill tips me $50. You are the best, Bill. And Bill says WWE is just awful. It's that simple. I agree with you. And because they're a corporation, that's not going to change. It doesn't look like any of these other companies are going to do products much different than WWE. AEW is all into the little guys, the gymnastics, and the old guys like Dr. Luther, who I heard Conan and Disco Inferno in a clip today, Conan saying Dr. Luther should never be on Dynamite. He belongs on Dark. Doesn't matter how old he is or how long he claims to have been in the business. He sucks and he's not ready for live TV. Chris is making fun of Lars Sullivan. No name required. 123 says once they tried to say a middle-aged born-again Christian and a nearly 40-year-old guy who's married to the boss's daughters are rebels. I had enough. Yeah, Triple H is far from a rebel. He's a great politician, though. Anyone who marries the boss's daughter is the ultimate politician. He's terrible at running NXT, though. As we see, they're getting their asses kicked week after week after week. It's embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for Triple H, but apparently WWE isn't embarrassed by NXT losing every week. El General wants an interview with Rick Martel. He hates wrestling right now. I have talked to him. He doesn't want anything to do with wrestling. He made his money. He saved his money. He's done with the wrestling business. Big Richard wants Bill to be the godfather of my firstborn. Well, Bill is a great guy, I have to admit. Jay Miller, Mick Foley shoot. He doesn't do shoots. And there's a clip of Dave Penzer interviewing Mick Foley on this channel. And in like a year and a half, I don't even think it has 5,000 hits. So he's overrated. Chris says Drew McDonald sucks. John likes my Ken Patera interview, which I'm doing another one shortly with him, and bunch of interviews coming up. I might even have a Tessa Blanchard interview coming up. Don't quote me on that, but I have a friend that knows her that's working on it. No Name's happy got his post read out. No problem. I always read as many posts as I can. Goldust Shoot, he works for AEW, and him and I have heat because he demanded to be paid for 2 shows in Alberta back in 2007 up front, and then he no-showed the shows, so he's a piece of shit. Why would I be scared of him? I would not be afraid of a 50-something-year-old washed-up piece of shit loser. He's a piece of crap. Anyone that rips off independent promoters and fucks over the fans that pay to see them on an independent show is just the scum of the earth. And I would definitely put Goldust in that category. Total piece of shit. David says NXT gets more viewers than AEW Dark. I really don't know about that. I haven't seen it. Bill tips me $100. Thank you, Bill. I am working on that. I am working on that interview. Hopefully I'll have an answer for you next week. You're the best. We can't beat Bill tonight. Bill's $100 tip. We got to end it on that. Thank you, Bill. Right on.